Hey up, it's Steve from that old Yorkshire Geek, and it's Friday night appointment with Fear Time. I apologise this week we're not live because something has come up for this Friday, so I've got to record this episode, and it'll be premiered on at the usual time on Friday night. So welcome if you're watching it live. Right, so anyway, we've got a double bill tonight. A couple of classic from the old Universal stable. We've got the Wolfman, and we've got Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. So, huzzah. So we'll do the intro, and then we'll have a look at those films. I'm back. I hope the audio working for that. For some reason there were no bars going up and down like there usually is. I hope it worked. I'll check it afterwards. And I can always fiddle, can't I? Right, anyway, so The Wolfman, 1941, directed by George Wagner, written by Kurt Siodmak, and starring, of course, the late great Lon Chaney Jr., although he's billed as just Lon Chaney, because they wanted to. I think he wanted to be Lon Chaney Jr., but the studio wanted to cash in on his famous father's name. So I don't think his name is actually Lon Chaney, is it? I think he's called something else, but I can't remember what. Let's have a look. Let's look that up, shall we? Let's look that up. Lon Chaney Jr. Yes, Crichton Tull Chaney. There you go. That was his real name, but his stage name was Lon Chaney Jr. But they didn't start using the junior until quite a few films into his Universal career. Right, so The Wolfman. Right, off we go. As usual, I won't be just playing the film because of copyright, stuff. I don't know if it would the strike us for a 1941 film? Probably. But anyway, let's get it up, and we will go through in a series of stills. Where have I put the bugger? Here we go, 1941, The Wolfman. So let's go through with the. Is it going to work? Are you doing it? It's not doing it, is it? It's not doing the skipping bit, is it? Hang on, here we go. It's doing it now. It didn't. Oh, for God's sake! We'll just do it the old-fashioned way. Right. Anyway, we get a. Go back a bit. There we go. The Wolfman. Universal presents The Wolfman, 1941. For some reason it won't skip. When I press the skip button, for some reason that ain't working. Don't know why. Stupid computers. That's what it is. Anyway, so I'll have to do my best. So anyway, we get a cast list. Oddly showing. Little videos of them. We saw Claude Rains back there. Oh, for God's sake, it's going to be hard work, is this? I'll play it for a little bit. If it'll play. There we go. Claude Rains as Sir John Talbot. I wish this worked. Will that work? No, that just makes it wider. What else have we got? I don't know. Anyway, never mind. Right, so anyway, let's just get on with the film, shall we? I'm waffling. There you go, Ralph Bellamy. You might know him from Trading Places. Played one of the bad guys in there. He's in here as Colonel Montford. The film is set in the village of Llanwelly in Wales, and there isn't a single Welsh accent to be found in this film. And Ralph Bellamy, I presume he's playing a Welshman or an Englishman or something like that. Is the local constable, even though he's a colonel of Llanwelly, and he doesn't even try to hide his American accent. I don't know why. Maybe there's an explanation for it, but I doubt it. And there you go, Bela Lugosi as Bela, or as they pronounce it, Bela. He's the first Wolfman in the film, although he's not a Wolfman, he's just a wolf. But as we'll see when we get there. And there you go, Lon Chaney, no junior yet, as the Wolfman. Why did they just call him as, Lawrence Talbot, in brackets, the Wolfman? or aka the Wolfman, but they just want to know him as the Wolfman, not his character, Lawrence Talbot. There we go. Gowns. I miss it when they just to say gowns. Oh, you can't see it from my fat head there. It says Vera West underneath me. It says gowns. Now it's all costume design, isn't it? It used to be gowns in the old days. Right, let's move on. There we go. There's a little explanation of lycanthropy from an encyclopedia that they opened up, and they just found that. I think it mentions Talbot Castle. Talbot Castle where? No idea. But apparently it's Llanwelly. I don't know if it actually names the village in this film. I can't remember. Maybe it does, I don't know. I know it mentions it in Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman. But anyway. Right. Oh, let's move on. Right, this is Lawrence Talbot and a driver heading towards Talbot Castle with a bad rear projection. So I'll play it, see what happens. There you go, look at that. You can tell they're really driving. Look at him, he's giving it all that. Bless him. And then we see, he points there, Talbot Castle, and then we see a model. Oh no, see, I've gone too far now. See, it's going to be hard work, is this, doing this. Go on, show us the bleeding castle. There you go. A model of the castle. No, that's your lot. And then we cut to, I think this is a special effects shot, this, isn't it? I think there's several layers here. We've got the tree in the foreground. I think that's one layer. Then I think we've got this layer here. Maybe up to there. Maybe. Yeah, I think that part there. I think this part might be part of that. Can you see my mouse pointer, by the way? Yes, you can. I think this is the same shot as that. So I think we've got a line going across here and these tree bits here. And I think there. And I think the rest of it is probably a painting or an angle of that model. But it looks like a painting to me. Anyway, it's arriving at Talbot Castle. Or Castle. Is Lawrence. Apparently he's been away for 18 years. Here he is with his diminutive father, Claude Rains, as Sir John Talbot. Apparently he's been away for 18 years. He's the Prince Harry of the family. Because he had a brother whose name has escaped me. I can't remember, does it say? It does say Llanwelly in the... I'm looking at Wikipedia, by the way, for the plot rundown, and it does mention Llanwelly, but I don't know if it mentioned it in the film. No, it doesn't mention his brother, I don't think, in here, but it does mention it in the film, but I can't remember his name. But his brother's died, who happens to look exactly like him, as we'll see in a portrait in a moment. There's Ralph Bellamy. He's just leaving. There we go. There's a picture of Lawrence Talbot's brother, the other son of Sir John Talbot, who looks just like Lon Chaney. And apparently he's died in some sort of hunting accident. I don't know what happened, but he was going to be the heir to the Talbot fortune. But now it falls to Lawrence, who's come back from America with an American accent. I presume his brother didn't have an American accent. I don't know because he's dead. He's come back anyway as Lawrence with his American accent, and so they're just getting to know each other again. Sir John, he realizes that Lawrence was the cuckoo of the family, so to speak, or the spare. As I said, he's the Prince Harry. You had Prince in our royal family. You had Prince William, who's the heir to the throne, and Prince Harry, who's referring to himself as the spare at the moment. But and so he's a bit miffed about it. And how should I put it? Sometimes spares are there for a reason, aren't they? Look at what happened with Edward VIII and George the whatever came. Was it George the VI? Fifth. I can't remember which one it won now. There were fifth one. I don't know. See, I can't even remember my own country's monarchs. Anyway, Anyway, King George, who followed King Edward VIII, he was the spare, and he ended up being a great king. So there you go. A wartime king. Anyway, they're having a natter about this and that. And then a box comes, as we'll see in a moment, with some parts for a telescope. Here we go. This is being interrupted. There we go. The observatory is in the attic, he says. So they go up and a nice telescope there. Presume it's an astronomical telescope because it's got like an atlas of the sky there. But they don't actually look at the sky with it. It's pointed down there. They just look at the village. Plus all the images. If you know anything about astronomy and astronomical telescopes, unless you put what's called an erecting lens in, everything is upside down. But not in this. So Lawrence is setting it up for his father. But anyway, so he sorts that out for him. And then he's a look at the village. That's what he sees. A good telescope is that, isn't it? And then he has another look, and he sees Gwen Conliffe. Is it going to... There we go. There you go. He has a look now, and he sees Gwen Conliffe. He has another look at the village. Adjust the telescope. There we go. It's adjusting it, look. Just spying on the village. Comes into focus. Your typical Welsh village, I don't think. I think this is the universal backlot. Doesn't look very Welsh, does it? I've been to Wales, I know it doesn't look very Welsh. In fact, it looks exactly like Cardiff that we'll see in the next film, and also Vassaria, which we'll also see in the next film. But anyway, so he's spying on the villagers, and then he also happens to glimpse Gwen Cunliffe in her bedroom. There we go. So he's also a voyeur and a peeping Tom. There you go. It's very creepy, I must admit. That's where he realised what shop she lives above. So he goes down, heads down there. There he is. He goes inside, and Gwen's there working, as you'd expect. There you go. And he asks if she's got any earrings. And so she gets some out from under the counter, says, we've got a lovely selection. And he says, no, I want some that have got little half moons or whatever, crescent moons, just like the ones on your bedside table. So instead of freaking out, she takes it well, because he's been spying on her and he's been very creepy. But he wants to take her out, and she tells him to sod off, because he's a creepy bugger. Even though he's all smiles, she's not saying anything about his American accent. It's a little village in Wales. They'd be very suspicious, wouldn't they? But none of them have got Welsh accents anyway. So but never mind. Then what happens? Come on, move on. There we go. Is it going to start working now? This? Oh, it is. It's working now. Look, that's weird, isn't it? The skip thing. So he buys this wooden cane. It's not skipping right much though, is it? No, it isn't. Never mind. He buys a cane with a silver top that's got a wolf's head on it and a star. And we're going to get to see it there. You can see it a bit better there. So he buys that. £3, $15, apparently, that was in 1941. And he's, a bit miffed at paying that much. I mean, it's silver, for crying out loud, but I suppose £3 or a lot more than many people got paid each week, especially in Wales. Anyway, he buys it, and he's still trying to chat her up. Look, he's been, very stalkerish. But she's having none of it, and he says, right, you can go for a walk with me tonight. I'll see you at 8. And he obviously doesn't take no for an answer. But look, she's still smiling, look, though. She obviously, she wants it. And then they hear a commotion, and they go outside, and the gypsies are arriving. Because back then, gypsies were, a jolly people that used to come into town, there you go, in their lovely painted wagons, and set up shop and entertain and do all this lovely stuff. A bit like a travelling fair. But these days, in the UK anyway, travellers, as we've got to call them now, just take up part of half of a supermarket car park. Anyway, but never mind. I suppose they've got to go somewhere, haven't they? Right, so he's back. He's back at Talbot Castle, and I forgot her name now. Gwen had told him about the the legend of the werewolf. The star is seen on the palm of a werewolf's victim, and she says that the rhyme that is repeated many times in this film. Even a man who is pure in heart and says his prayers by night may become a wolf when the wolfbane blooms and the autumn moon is bright. And he repeats it here as Claude Rains, and then somebody else says it later on. But then for the next film, they change it, because it's not autumn in the next film. But apparently it's autumn here, because the gypsies come every autumn. Right. So this is when he's talking about all that. So they're having a jolly nice chat about it. So anyway, so it's 8 o'clock. She's coming out. Obviously, it's the UK. They think it's England, don't they? Wales, England. That's what they'd say, wouldn't they? The Americans. And it's always foggy in here. It's always foggy in England. It ain't. So she's obviously come waiting for him. By the way, she's played by Evelyn Ankers, who would go on in the next film in the series, Ghost of Frankenstein, to play Baroness Frankenstein, who would be played by somebody else in Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, Ilona Massey, or however you pronounce it, I don't know. But they're always chopping and changing characters, changing the actors who played characters, or having actors playing different characters from film to film, as we'll see in this film. So she's waiting. This is Lawrence arriving to an unsuspecting Gwen, but she was really waiting for him. So anyway, but she's got a surprise for him, because she's got a friend with her, whose name I've forgotten. Does it tell us in the cast list? Because I can't remember her name. Jenny. It's Jenny. She's got Jenny with her. So they go together to see the gypsies. So he's got two women on his arm, as we'll see. So he's like, no, crikey. He just wanted Gwen, but now he's got Jenny as well. Jenny the gooseberry. Jenny says, oh, look, wolfsbane. Because, wolfsbane's common in Britain. I've never seen any, but I don't know. I don't know anything about horticulture or anything like that. So remember, when the moon is full and the autumn moon is bright and the wolfbane's blooming, obviously it's blooming there, so she gets some. So they're all jolly and happy about it. Right, so here they are at the gypsy camp. They're going to have the fortunes told by, here he is, Bela. Blair, Blair! Sorry, that was my Dracula impression. So I think they leave Jenny behind. She goes and has a fortune told, and they slink off into the woods. There you go, slinking off into the misty woods, a.k.a. soundstage at Universal. So he's obviously interested in her, but she's not really. She's kind of interested in him, but she's got somebody else who's interested in her as well, as we will see. But there's Bela showing off his Harry Potter scar. It's a star on his forehead. I don't know why he's got that, but he has. He's telling Jenny's fortune, but he's not doing a very good job of it, because he sees the star in the palm of her hand, I do believe. I probably missed it. Let's go back a bit. But he gets upset. There you go. He sees it in the palm of her hand. So she's going to be the the werewolf's next victim. So he gets a bit upset about that. Because these werewolves, they can't help it. They just change when the moon is full. So he tells her to leave anyway. So away she goes. And Bela slinks off, and he's going to change into a wolf now. What's happening here? Hang on, let me just... Because Jenny gets attacked. I probably missed it. And Lawrence runs to investigate. He hears a screaming and stuff. But I think it's too late. There we go. There's the wolf, aka just a big dog, that's getting Jenny. Look, ragdolling her a little bit. But why is that a wolf? Why is that a proper wolf? But when Lon Chaney changes, is a wolf man? I don't understand. But anyway. So here we go. He's gonna leap to the rescue. Is anyone doing a skip that's more than like one frame? There he goes. There he goes. So he's going to batter the wolf with his silver-topped cane. That's what he's going to do. And the wolf but the wolf gets a shot in first and bites him before he clubs it to death. But I think it's too late for Jenny, by the way. I think she's done for. Well, no, I don't think she is. I know she's done for because they tell us soon. But Gwen doesn't give a toss. Gwen and Maleva, who you can see here, played by the amazing Maria Uspenskaya. That's a name and a half, isn't it? The gypsy woman. They bundle Lawrence onto her cart and take her back to Talbot Castle. Sod Jenny, she's lying in a pool of blood somewhere. Anyway, so here we go. So here's Ralph Bellamy and Claude Rains having a little, probably brandy or something like that, because that's what they did in them days, didn't they? Two men talking about manly things, but then they bring in, here you go, they bring in Lawrence. Maleva slinks off, and they send the butler after her, but she's gone. And then somebody else comes running in, saying, my Jenny's been murdered. So he's like saying, murdered? So they go and investigate that. And they find she's had her throat ripped out. And they also find the body of Bela Lugosi, with his he's got no shoes on. They point that out to us. He's got no shoes on. But he's got his clothes on. Didn't have his clothes on when he was a wolf, did he? But it must be a wolfman thing, you know, when you turn into a werewolf or a wolfman, your clothes change as well for some reason, as we'll see. So here they are. So Ralph Bellamy, I've forgotten him, Montford, isn't he? He's describing the scene to this fella here who's writing it down, but he's been a bit queasy. This chap, that's pardon me. That is, I can't remember his name. Patrick Knowles is the actor. Frank Andrews. He's like the gamekeeper, the game warden for the Talbot estate. But in Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, he plays a doctor in Cardiff. He plays a totally different character. But never mind. Anyway, they also find Lawrence's cane, because he'd dropped it. Anyway, next morning, Lawrence wakes up and he's perfectly fine. Well, not perfectly fine. His injuries have healed. There you go. Gets up. And they all come in asking him questions. Says, is this your cane? Well, yes, of course it is, he says. And, well, they found it out by the body of Bela. So they're saying, is he a murderer? Did he murder Bela? He says, no, it was a wolf. And says, well, it was dark. He might have been mistaken. So they all think he's crazy. So this is the point now. Early on in the film, as we'd seen, Lawrence Talbot was a bit of a happy-go-lucky, American chap who wanted to pick up girls and have a good time. But now he's turning into this tragic figure, the tragic figure of the Wolfman. Lawrence Talbot does nothing but moan for every other film he's in, because he wants to die. So anyway, so here he is now, learning that there's something not right. Something is awry in Llanwelly. So he's saying, they all think I'm crazy. And yeah, they probably do. So they're making plans about what's going to go on, and the doctor says, don't question him anymore, not for the time being, blah blah blah. What happens here? Who are these old biddies? I can't remember. Oh, they're bringing out. This is Jenny's body. They're bringing Jenny's body out. So that'll go to that. They're burying it. And I think the grave digger. I think it's him with his hat on. I think he's the next victim later on. I don't know why he's got a cowboy hat on. It's supposed to be in Wales, remember? I think this is Jenny. Anyway, they're bringing it into the. This is the Talbot family crypt. I don't know what they're putting her in there for, but maybe it's just a sign of respect. I'm guessing it's Jenny, or it could be Bela actually. I don't. Yeah, I think actually it's Bela. It's it's Bela. It's not Jenny. Hang on, let's have a look. Because he's come to check as Lon Chaney, and he opens up the casket, but I don't know if we see Bela inside. Are we going to see? I think it's actually Bela inside. So God knows what's happened to Jenny. Poor Jenny. Nobody gives a toss about her. She's had the throat ripped out by a wolf. Everybody's worried about bloody Bela Lugosi, aren't they? Have a look, see if it shows him. Is it going to show him? Probably not, because he's had his head bashed in, hasn't he, with a silver cane, so it's probably not looking the best. But yeah, it is Bela, because Maleva comes in. Bela was Maleva's son, by the way. There you go. She comes in to pay her respects to her son, and she says things like, you led a cursed life, blah, blah, you find peace in death, blah, blah. He's being creepy again and spying. And then she goes, and he goes as well. This is Gwen and her dad, her elderly father, by the looks of him. Saying that though, it could have been my age, I don't know. They all looked elderly back then, didn't they, when they were like 40. But anyway, she's obviously upset about what's happened, but he's an understanding dad, and he don't blame Lawrence Talbot for anything that's happened, because he comes now, does Lawrence Talbot, as we'll see, and his dad's fine about it. Oh, but before that, these old bags are going on to him, saying, it's all Gwen's fault, and that Lawrence Talbot fella getting up to the no good in the woods, while poor Jenny were having the throat ripped out. So they care about Jenny, but, they're portrayed as hideous harridans, when they're just concerned citizens, in my opinion. But anyway, he sees them off, does Lawrence. Then asks if he can see Gwyn, and her dad says, yeah, of course you can. So in he goes, and then, I forgot his name already, Frank Andrews arrives, the gamekeeper, or games warden, or whatever the hell he is, of the Talbot estate. He arrives, and there's like a bit of tension, because he and Gwen grew up together, so you get the feeling that if Lawrence hadn't turned up, they'd have been an item. But anyway, here he is. He's come now. Look, there you go. So anyway, Lawrence goes, and by the way, he doesn't accept. Lawrence holds out his hand. He says, "Pleased to meet you," but he doesn't accept his hand. And Gwen says to him later, "That were rude of you," and says, "Well, I don't. There's something about him. I don't trust him." So there you go. So it tells us to be careful. Right, the gypsies are still having fun, even though Bella's being killed. They're just getting on with life and dancing and singing and stuff like that. And I forgot his name already. Frank. Frank and Gwen have gone to see the gypsy show and partake of the amenities of the gypsy camp. Anyway, they run into Lawrence. Mere names. They run into Lawrence, who is there for some reason. Don't know why. He's following Gwen. That's what he's doing, because he's a creep. But he's there. And so Frank says, no hard feelings, why don't you join us? Let's go and do some shooting. So they go do some shooting at a shooting gallery. Meanwhile, Sir John and Montford are watching for some reason. But they're going to shoot, but then, hang on, I have to go back a bit. Or maybe not. Maybe forward. Oh, there you go. So go back a bit and he's shooting the targets and hitting them. But then a wolf comes up and he won't shoot it because he knows that he's a wolf. There you go. Pained expression on his face. So Frank takes the shot and shoots the wolf. He said, "Oh, never mind, do you want another go?" And he says, "No, I don't think so. You win." And he exits stage right, and then he's looking a bit fed up now. He goes to see Maleva, I do believe. There you go, sees Maleva, and asking her what's going on. I think she tells him all about that Bela were a werewolf, and he were bitten by a werewolf, so he will become a werewolf. Does the old line, "Whoever is bitten by a werewolf and lives becomes a werewolf himself." So she says that. If you've seen The Howling, you know that line. It's a major part of The Howling, which we've done in Appointment with Fear. So go back and watch that one. So she sends him away. She says, "Go, God go with you," or whatever, because she can't help him. I think she explains to him that only silver can kill a werewolf. A silver bullet or a silver knife or a silver-topped cane. So that's how he learns how to kill a werewolf. As we find out, it doesn't. It don't kill him anyway, because he must be some special kind of werewolf. Well, he's the wolf man, isn't he? He's not a werewolf, technically. So anyway, off he goes. I don't know what she's talking to her about, can't remember. It'll be something and nothing. So off he goes into the woods. Is this Gwen? Oh, he's met up with Gwen again. She's what's her face? Maleva gave Lawrence like a charm to protect him from evil. I think he gives it to Gwen. I think. So she'll be protected. Don't do much good though, as we'll see. So anyway, he heads off home. I think the moon is full. He's checking his clothes. He notices he's got light-coloured clothes on at the moment, just down to his vest and his slacks. But then when he turns into a werewolf, the wolf man, as we'll see, he wears dark clothes or something. He must have them hung up somewhere. I don't know. But anyway, we see the transformation. The good old Jack Pierce. I've gone too far now. The old Jack Pierce makeup effects. There you go. Be watching his. There you go. His feet are turning. It's obviously from the ground up transformation. Although in the later on we see his face. We don't see his feet changing. But there you go. So he's got his Wolfman feet now. Oh, for God's sake. Maybe that were all we saw, because we might see it again later, maybe. Yeah, I think we might see the rest of it later. We're just seeing his feet for now. But he's still got his light-coloured slacks on, but when we see him next, so he must have like a wardrobe he nips into and changes his clothes. Because remember he had that white vest on as well. All John McClane. There he goes, tiptoeing out, look. I used to do that. When I was a kid. Because I obviously watched this when I was a kid. I used to pretend to be the Wolfman and tiptoe around the house growling. There you go. He's changed his clothes. Look, now he's got his dark trousers on and his dark shirt, as we'll see in a moment when it pans up. There he is. He must have his Wolfman selection. Wolfman autumn selection. Right, so anyway, so he's out and about. Don't know why he's a wolfman. Why ain't he like Bela or a werewolf? Look like a dog. Why isn't Lon Chaney? Don't know. Anyway, he's going to get this this fella with a cowboy hat. Here he is. It looks like he's just walked in. Maybe they were shooting a western next door. And they thought, we need a fella to be a grave digger. He'll do. Come on, just change your clothes. Come on, in you come. Do this. And he comes in like bloody Roy Rogers or something. Actually looks a bit like Bing Crosby when you look at him. When he turns around, there he goes, light a cigarette up. On his pipe, sorry. And he does look a bit like Bing Crosby, doesn't he? He's going to start singing. And I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. I know I'm not Bing Crosby, I know I'm not. So anyways, he's lighting his pipe. I think he's actually a British actor, I think. He doesn't look like Bing Crosby there. Because he's in I think, I'm pretty sure he's in the next film. Let's check. Right, so we'll do it this way. IMDb. The Wolfman at IMDb. And then we need Frankenstein meets the Wolfman at IMDb. See, well, if he's in the cast list, let's have a look. I'll just go to all cast and crew. We'll do like grave digger or something like that. No, it isn't. No, so it could be any of them. Villager. Just people credited as villager. It's not him, it's not Twiddle, that's another fella. So it's either Olaf Hitton or what else have we got? Because I don't think he's got a name. It's not Gibson Gowland, because it looks nothing like him. Or Monty O'Grady. Anyway, let's see. In Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. Oh, I didn't realise that. We had Dwight Fry. We've got Dwight Fry in Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. I didn't realise that. He were in Dracula. All cast and crew. I do apologise for this. Grave robber. Freddie Jolly grave robber. There were two grave robbers though. What's the other one? I don't know. Maybe it isn't the same fella then. Maybe it isn't the same fella because I can't say any of the same names. So never mind. Right, where were we? Let's get back to the film. I thought he were in Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, but I don't think he is. Fella looks like him though. Anyway, he's going to get got by. There he is. Going to get got by the Wolfman. Hang on, go back a bit more. I tell you, it's tricky. Is this without? There you go. There you go. He's being got by the Wolfman, having his throat ripped out. Anyway, back in the village, they must hear some sort of commotion, and they all come running out. Look, some sort of angry mob, but not quite. They find the dead grave digger, so they think it's an animal attack. Anyway, back at Talbot Castle, muddy footprints on the windowsill, and we see them as they. We're at morning now, by the way. There you go. See, muddy footprints start turning into human footprints, I think. There you go. Still like a wolf's footprint on his tippy toes. They're becoming longer, look. Turning into human footprints, I think. Come on, get on with it. Or else we'll get a copyright strike. There you go. Starting to turn into human footprints now. Pardon me. Or maybe not. I don't know. But anyway, there's Lawrence Talbot's feet. He's ligged on his bed. Still got his Wolfman clothes on, look. So he definitely changed into his Wolfman clothes. Complete with belt. So obviously as a Wolfman, he can fasten buttons and zips and belts and stuff. So he's not just an animal. He has a certain savoir-faire, as they say. Anyway, he wakes up, he realises something terrible's happened, and he's thinking, how have I got these clothes on? I was in a vest and light coloured slacks last night. But I think he realises what's happened. He doesn't know exactly what's happened, but he realises he's done something terrible. He probably can taste the blood in his mouth. So anyway, so he gets changed again. Another wardrobe change. And he's asking his dad about stuff. I think he's asking him about werewolves and stuff here. And he's saying, you know, it's nonsense. It's nonsense. It's just fairy tales. Don't believe it. Then what happens? Right, the town's gathering for something. Is it a funeral or is it an angry mob? I think it's a funeral. Maybe it's Jenny's funeral. Yeah, I think it's Jenny's funeral. So they're arriving to pay their respects. And I don't think he can stay because he knows what's happened. So I think he leaves. Let's go back a bit. Have a look. Yeah, he can't stay, so he scarpers. Nice. Nice. That's obviously, you know, a matte painting, isn't it? You know, a bit of or forced perspective or something like that. You know, this. I think probably below there is the cut-off point in it. Probably, maybe, I don't know. I keep pointing this stuff out for some reason. Anyway, so they're wondering what to do. There's obviously they think there's some wild animal on the loose killing people. So I think the town's going to have an angry mob into the woods, all armed with guns to hunt the wolf down, because I think there's a wolf. I don't know. I think wolves died out in Britain in probably in the 1600s or something like that, with the last wolf in Britain. I think I might be wrong, but maybe it's escaped from a zoo. I don't know, but I think the largest carnivore Britain has got now, I think it's the badger. So, unless you believe the reports that we've got big cats roaming about, they're always popping up in the news every now and again. Anyway, so in a minute, Lawrence goes and ties himself to a chair. As we'll see, this is the villagers getting ready to go out and hunt down the wolf. See, I think I've missed it again, haven't I? Come on, where's... Oh, maybe that's later. Maybe I'm misremembering. They're setting traps and stuff, you know, bear traps and things to catch the wolf man. And out he comes. There we go, it's night time, and out he comes. Does the wolf man? It must be the next bit that he ties himself to a chair, and he steps in the bear trap and gets caught there. He writhes about. Well, but he gets away. Can't remember how, but he does. Or maybe he's found. I can't remember. Let's see. Does he pass out or something? And they find Lawrence Talbot. I can't actually remember. Let's see what happens, eh? I watched this an hour ago, and my memory is terrible. I should take notes, but I'm too lazy. Come on. The gypsy woman, she frees him. That's it, I remember now. She arrives with her trusty carriage, cart, whatever, trap, and she frees him. I think she finds Lawrence... Oh, no, that's the Wolfman, isn't it, there? Oh, you can't see him, he's behind me. But does it changes back here now. Changes back to Lawrence Talbot, I think. I could be wrong again. Anyway, she frees him. I'm sure he changes back. Change back, man. Don't make me a liar. For some reason, as I was watching it, I think it reminds me of Russell Crowe, and I don't know why. There you go. He's changing back now. He's getting his human feet. I knew he did. So she helps him takes him back home or whatever. And they find nothing. Do the the villagers? Oh, there he is. She must have just freed him and he's come to and run away. I don't know. I think the next night he ties himself to a chair. What's up with Gwen? He's throwing stones up at Gwen's window for some reason because he wants to talk to her, and I can't remember what he wants to talk to her about. What does he want to talk to her about? Let's have a read. Caught in one of the traps. Maleva uses a spell to temporarily change him back to human form. I thought he just changed. Yes, he's saying goodbye to Gwen. That's it. That's it. So she comes down and he's saying he's going to leave town because he's done something terrible. But then he sees the pentagram in her hand. In a minute. So I think that's when he decides to tie himself to a chair. He's just seen it. Look, he's just seen it. It's pointing. So I'm going to have to do this. Go on, look at her hand. No, he's seen it, but we haven't. Go on, keep going. Oh, technology, yeah. Technology. Oh, for God's sake. Is he going to see it now? Open her palm. There we go. Oh, dear, I knew. She's got lovely nails. Anyway, sees the 5-pointed star. Nothing to do with Texas. Remember the Alamo? I remember the Alamo. I saw it in London, in Leicester Square. American Werewolf in London reference. Sees that in the palm of her hand, so that's when he decides to go home and tie himself to a chair. There it is. So he goes up to his room, telling his, it's all woe is me, all to his dad and stuff. And I think John's getting a bit fed up with him now, thinking, God, I wish you'd died and my other son had survived. A bit of a Faramir, Boromir thing going on here. But he's all there he goes. He tied his son to this chair, or he's had his dad tie him to a chair. I don't know what they tied him with. Duct tape or something, I don't know. It doesn't look very strong, does it? But he's tied to this chair, but his dad's going with the rest of the village. They're going out shooting, looking for this wolf. And he tells his dad, he says, take the cane, as you can see it there. Can you see it there? That's the silver-headed cane. He says, take that. So his dad does. So off he goes. Obviously sat in next to the window so he can see the moon. You think it'd be the last thing he wants to see, wouldn't it? But he has done. So he goes off to meet the shooting party. There he is. But then he has a change of heart and he wants to go back. He wants to go back and check on his son. But I think he's already changed by this time and freed himself from his bonds. But he comes across Maleva, and she's saying, she says, what are you doing in the woods? I thought you were out with the shooting party. He says, I want to be with my son. So she says, yeah, whatever. But then for some reason, Gwen finds herself in the middle of the woods, and she gets attacked by the Wolfman, as we'll see in a moment. Don't know what she's doing in the woods, but she's there just by herself. Here he comes, look, Russell Crowe. I don't know why it reminds me of Russell Crowe, he just does. Here he is. Hey, here's Gwen, look. She come running up, and I don't know what she's asking for. She said, have you seen Lawrence or something? I don't know. Or Sir John. So there she was running through the misty woods. She gets herself attacked. Here he's stalking her. But he has been stalking her all the whole film, really, hasn't he? Not just as the Wolfman. And here he goes attacking... hang on, I've gone too far. course I have. Yeah. He attacks Gwen, throws her about a little bit, as we'll see. But obviously don't kill her, you know. Because it's Gwen, isn't it? Because he loves her. That's my excuse. But he's still attacking her, isn't he? But then Sir John arrives and batters his son to death. Obviously, he doesn't know it's his son, but batters the Wolfman to death with his silver top cane. Here he is. Where are we seeing it? There he goes. Beat. So there you go. As Mileva arrives, they think he's dead, and he changes back to Lawrence. There you go. Changes back to Lawrence Talbot. So he's killed his son, and then the villagers arrive. They find Gwen. I think she's okay, but they arrive and they say Lawrence must have, run to help her, and the wolf killed him, or whatever. And Sir John says, "Yeah, yeah, that's what happened." And then the film ends. So Lawrence Talbot is dead. There you go. Oh, that's the cast list. So we've got Sir John Talbot, Claude Rains, Dr. Lloyd, Warren William, Colonel Montford, Ralph Bellamy. Bizarre casting choices. Patrick Knowles, No K. Bela Lugosi, Maria Uspenskaya, Evelyn Ankers, J.M. Kerrigan, Faye Helm, Forrest Harvey, and Lon Chaney as the Wolfman. Lawrence Talbot. Just call him by his name. So there you go, that's the end of that one. Then, the next film in the series wasn't actually Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman. It was the Ghost of Frankenstein. Not in there were other Universal films, in between, but the next that followed on from the Universal cinematic universe was the Ghost of Frankenstein. And in that one, Igor, played by Bela Lugosi, I think the monster were played by... Oh, the monster. Frankenstein's monster in that one were played by Lon Chaney. See, it's all swap and change, isn't it? But Igor got his brain put into the monster's body, and it all went wrong, and for some reason he went blind and he couldn't see, but he could still talk. But it all went awry, and the house burnt down. That wasn't the same house, wasn't the same, Frankenstein's, castle thing that we see in the other Universal films, but yet somehow it is, even though it looks totally different, and I don't know, it's all confusing. Anyway, so the next up is Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, which was made in 1943, so we'll get that one up. We'll close that one, and we'll get Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman up. Here we go. Right, so off we jolly well go. Do we get see, it's not working on this one now, look. It's bizarre. There we go. A Universal picture. Cool. I like that one then, the little plane that used to go round. That was a good one as well. Anyway. Bubbling, science and stuff. And it comes on, it says Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman. There we go. Actually it says 1942. Yeah. But it says 1943. So it must have been made in 42 and released in 43. What does it say? Does it say a release date? Release. March 1943. Yeah. Yeah. That's when it was released. So it was mostly made in 42. Welcome, garden. Where are we? Let me get rid of that one. There we go. Where were we? Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman. Right. So, we start off. We don't have, like the previous one. By the way, this one was written again by Kurt Siodmak, but it wasn't directed by George Wagner. It was produced by him, but it was directed by somebody else. I forgot his name. got 3 names. There we go. Roy William Neill. It was directed by him. And he did a good job. So here we go. Got starring Ilona Massey, Patrick Knowles, not as Frank Warren this time, as Dr. Mannering. Yeah. But Ilona Massey is playing Baroness Elsa Frankenstein, who were played by, I forgot her name already, Evelyn Ankers in Ghost of Frankenstein. It's all very confusing. And Lon Chaney as the Wolfman. Still not referring to him as Lawrence Talbot. He ain't got his junior yet. There you go, directed by Roy William Neill. Right. The opening scene. Full moon. It's not autumn anymore, by the way. There you go. Some grave robbers heading to... see if I can land on it. Oh, see, it's working now. Right, you're going to show us. Probably not. There was a sign that said, like Lanwelly Cemetery, or Here Lie the Dead of Lanwelly, or something like that. But they've got a couple of crows in, haven't they, just to make it spooky. Or a crow. And anyway, they're heading for the Talbot crypt, which for some reason also held Bela for some reason. But anyway, so there we go. This fella here, I'm sure that's the same fella that were... the cowboy that got by the Wolfman. In the Wolfman. It looks like him. But I couldn't find a name that matched. So maybe it ain't him. Maybe it looked like him. Anyway. So they climb up over the door, like a... what they call it? What they call it? Like a translight, whatever they call it. Above the door. They get through there. And... it's been 4 years, apparently. 4 years have passed. In film time, in real time, it's only 2, but in film time, 4 years have passed since the death of Lawrence Talbot. That says there John Talbot. So has his dad died in the interim? Probably. Don't know. Never mentions him. So they're finding Lawrence Talbot's tomb. Here you go. Here it is in the middle. He's not shoved off to one side like all the others. So it says this is it. There was a thing that said Lawrence Talbot. There we go. Lawrence Stewart Talbot, who died at the youthful age of 31. R.I.P. So they open that up and take the lid off, and apparently he's fine in there. They were expecting just to find a skeleton, but they were up in his clothes. The legend, 4-year-old, was that he'd been buried with, or interred with money and gold jewellery and stuff like that. Why, I don't know, but it's just what they say. But the tomb thing, what the hell, the sarcophagus, whatever it's called, is crammed full of wolf's bane. And then he says, the ditty, even a man who is pure in heart and says his prayers by night may become a wolf when the wolf bane blooms and the moon is full and bright. Don't mention autumn this time. Just says the moon is full and bright. So it doesn't have to be autumn now. Anyway, so the thing, oh crikey. But then the moon shines on, look, he's all right looking, to Skellington, shines on the 4-year-old dead body of Lawrence Talbot, and he comes back to life as the Wolfman. And he grabs hold of the elderly chap there. He's got hold of him there. And this one, who I think were in the first film, but I can't find any evidence of it, he runs away, as we'll see. Oh no, he's trying to get his ring off there, but then Lawrence grabs hold of him. I'm going to see it now. Look, his hand comes up with his long nails and grabs hold of him. He says, "Help me!" And he says, "No." So he runs away. The other fella legs it. I don't think we see him again. Or maybe we will. I can't remember. I've just watched this, less than an hour ago probably now. But anyway. So the other fella is being killed, and Lawrence Talbot, a.k.a. the Wolfman, is on the loose. Then we're in Cardiff now. The foggy streets of Cardiff. It looks, a lot like Lanwelly and which also looks a lot like Vassaria, as we'll see in a bit. It's the universal backlot, isn't it? They've got to make do with what they've got. Anyway, this policeman, he finds Lawrence Talbot injured on the ground, and so they take him to the Queen's Hospital in Cardiff. There we go, Queen's Hospital. Why, it's got this gothic text on a scratchy little sign that's half hidden by trees and stuff. I don't know, but anyway, all this grotty gothic architecture as well in this. I think Britain's like, we're still in the Middle Ages, aren't we, according to Americans, which I suppose we are. God knows what that is. Anyway, apparently he's awake and he's talking. They said he shouldn't be. He's just had surgery and all that for his head wound and stuff. Probably the head wound that his father gave him. So maybe he's in some kind of suspended animation for 4 years. I don't know, but there you go. He's got a bandage on his head, and all this gothic architecture. It's a hospital, for God's sake. But this is in the times before the National Health Service. Remember, 1943, National Health Service didn't start till 1948. It's made in America. They don't have a National Health Service anyway. You've got to pay or you die. Anyway, so he's saying he remembers who he is. He don't know how he got there, but he says, "I'm Lawrence Talbot," and okay, they obviously don't know who that is. How did you get here? I don't know, but he thinks something terrible's happened. He's all woe is me, Anyway, so the police is there. The police are there, and they decide to go and check up on him. By the way, this is Patrick Knowles playing Dr. Mannering. Not Frank, I forgot his name already. Frank Warren? Was it Frank Warren? Frank Andrews. Frank Warren's a boxing promoter, isn't he? Stupid man. Not Frank Andrews. He is Dr. Mannering. Has he got a first name? Let's have a look. It's Dr. Frank Mannering. So they're sticking with the name Frank, but changing his surname. Anyway. So the copper decides to go and check up on this Lawrence Talbot. So he phones Llanwelly, gets through to the Llanwelly police station, which is obviously some sort of castle. There's a copper there pumping up his bicycle tyre. Anyway, the phone rings and the policeman goes and answers it, and it says, "This is I forgot his name. Inspector Owen from Cardiff." Not a single Welsh accent going on. I want to talk about, ask you about Lawrence Talbot. He says, yes, Lawrence Talbot's been dead for 4 years. There you go. So he says, thank you. So he says he's an imposter. You've got an imposter in there. So anyway, the next night, we see the moonlight creeping along the floor. Are you ready? Are you ready to be spooked out? There's some music. Listen to it. Ooh, moonlight's creeping along the room. I better stop, because we'll get into trouble. Anyway, so he's there in bed, is Lawrence. There he is. The moon shines on his face, and he's like, gets scared. But then the moon goes behind some clouds, look. As you see there. Goes behind some clouds. You think, oh, he's going to be all right. But then he ain't. But then he changes into the Wolfman. There you go. Pulls off his bandage. He's still got a scar on his head, like a Harry Potter scar. But he starts changing, look. There you go. They have some nice transformations in this. I know it's all done, with dissolves and stuff, but he's not just sat in a chair now. They have him, like here, he's in bed, and in another, he changes while he's stood behind a tree, so he's not just sat in a chair, transforming. So here he goes. For some reason, I don't know why his nose doesn't look like a wolf's nose. It looks like an elephant seal to me, but As you'll see, there you go. Like an elephant seal's nose. Or a proboscis monkey. I think that's what it's more like, isn't it? Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, I always thought he had pointed ears. Is it like a Mandela effect? I always thought he had pointed ears. But not there, he hasn't. Does he, when he's finished? When he's finished Transformers, he got pointed ears? No. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. But no pointed ears there. Or maybe he has in some of the other films. I don't know. So anyway, so off he goes. By the way, he's in his hospital gown, by the way. But Wolfman clothes must be easy to come by because, as we see, he's got them on when he's scurrying about, as we'll see. Here we are in Cardiff, which looks a lot like Llanwelly, down to this arch here. I think the Cunliffe shop, the antique shop where Gwen Cunliffe lives and works, I think that's over here somewhere. You see me thing? Over this side somewhere, just off screen. But this is Cardiff, it's a totally different place. Anyway, this copper's heard some sort of commotion, and then he gets got. See, I've missed it already. Have I gone too far? Yeah, here he is. Look, he's coming, leaping and bounding about, because he's an acrobatic wolf man. There you go. So he's So this copper goes to investigate. So who's that loony? And then he pays for it. There you go. With his life. So that copper's dead. And then I think we cut back to the hospital. Yeah. So anyway, he's got back into his hospital gown and changed back. He's a sly one, is this wolf man. He is sly. And they find him. Obviously, the window were open, and they find him. Just lock the window. It's an hospital, isn't it? Should lock the windows. They find him and cover him up. I think then he wakes up. There he is. And he says, "You're all right, you're fine." He says, "No, I've done something terrible. I've murdered somebody." He said, "No, you haven't murdered anybody. That happened streets away." So obviously they know that somebody's been murdered. "No, it was me. I changed into a wolf." Oh, and they said it was an animal attack. "It was me. I changed into a wolf. Get the police." So they say, "All right, get the police." So they do. So while he's treating his wounds, he's saying he don't believe that he can turn into a werewolf. A wolf man. Anyway, Inspector Owen arrives. And he's saying, "You've got to lock me up. I'm a murderer." And for some reason, they don't lock him up. Because I don't think they believe that it was him that did it. They thought he was in hospital, you see. So they think he's crazy. Some orderlies come in and they grab him because he tries to escape and run away. So I've gone too far, look. See in a minute. He tries to leg it. "I'm not crazy, I'm just acting it." So he tries to run out through the open window, and the orderlies think, "Steady on, lad." So they grab him. So he's not going anywhere. Then what? He's looking up lycanthropy, I think. The delusion that you turn into a wolf. So anyway, the copper decides he's going to go to Llanwelly, and the doctor goes with him. Oh, pardon me. So off they go to Llanwelly to check the Talbot crypt, and I think they find that it's empty. As Lawrence Talbot told him it would be, that he said to him, "Go check the crypt. You'll see that the tomb is empty," and it is. And they find the body of the grave robber. There you go. So he's been dead for a few days. I don't know if they find his mate, his friend that were there that ran away. I can't actually remember. I've just watched it. Useless. Right. So they're wondering what's happened to Lawrence Talbot's body. Because they said he was dead. Obviously, they're thinking maybe this is Lawrence Talbot that we've got. Somehow he didn't die. But he just lied there for 4 years. Anyway, Lawrence Talbot has other ideas. I think he's gone from the hospital. I think he's been told that now. He's gone. As we'll see. Have a listen. See if that's what they say.
Did you notify the police?
Yeah. It's obviously gone too far because I'm useless. Go back a bit.
We always...
Come on. Go to fella hot phone. There we go.
Dr. Gordon, this is Dr. Mannering speaking. How's Lawrence Talbot doing? You know, the head injury case went violent yesterday.
He's obviously gone. Yeah. He's obviously gone from the hospital. He said, did he notify the police? So he's on the run now, and he's going to find the gypsy woman, Maleva. I don't know where she is. Are they still in this country? I don't know. Because they end up, here we're seeing Lawrence Talbot arriving. He's already got his Wolfman clothes on already. Look, he's ready for action. I'm not exactly sure. Are they still in Britain, or is he gone to the continent now? Because they're off to Visaria next. So he goes to speak to Maleva, and he says he wants to find some way to kill himself because he thinks he can't die. There's no way he can die. And I think she mentioned something about there's a Dr. Frankenstein or something that did things with dead bodies, and he might know. So they go to Visaria. Maleva decides to take him. So off they go on a jolly old journey. It must take him a month because we're between full moons. We've just had the full moon, remember? So they must be travelling in a little pony and trap for a month. I'm guessing she were on, in Europe. I'm guessing she wasn't in Britain anymore because we don't see him get on a boat. Remember, Britain's an island. We don't see him get on a boat. So, but they must have at some point, or he must have. Or a plane. He might have got a plane to Europe. I don't know. Anyway, so they're off. Look. Sorry, pause. Mute that. So off they go. There you go. They've arrived at Visaria. I bet they're up there and going, you will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. Hey, so anyway, they arrive in Visaria, which looks uncannily like Llanwelly and Cardiff, as previously mentioned. So they're going to this bar, and they're asking about Dr. Frankenstein or Professor Frankenstein or whatever, and said, where can I find him? And they point him to the castle. So he's up there. In a minute. Hang on, I'm too far. Go on, show us. Oh, for crying out loud. He points out the window and we see a nice model of a dam and the castle. I can't remember if the dam were there in the first Frankenstein film or the second one. We had Frankenstein, didn't we? Bride of Frankenstein, and then I think we had Son of Frankenstein with Basil Rathbone. And I think we had Ilona Massey as Elsa Frankenstein. But she mentions her father was Frankenstein in this, I think. But in Son of Frankenstein, he were her father-in-law. So I don't know, it's all very confusing. For a thicko like me. There we go. There's the remains of the castle, because it's blown up and stuff, hasn't it? And there were windmills and things, weren't there, in the other films? It's all confusing. There's a dam there, look, and it's like Orthanc and Saruman's there, and they're going to blow the dam, or release the dam, or whatever. And as you see, it gets blown up later on. A fella with a couple of sticks of dynamite does a better job than the dam busters did. Anyway. But apparently water from this dam is running, works the turbines for Frankenstein's machines. Anyway, so But it tells him that, Frankenstein's dead and he's got a daughter somewhere. He had a son. I don't know what happened with his son. I think it's sure Basil Rathbone didn't die. So, I don't know. They obviously couldn't get him back. He were busy doing Sherlock Holmes, wasn't he? That's what he were doing. So they leave. They leave the bar, tavern, and off they go. He's fed up, because they're no closer to an answer to his problems. But then the moon comes out and he starts changing, and she just stares at him for ages while he's changing. But then he jumps off and runs away because he don't want her to come to any harm. This is just looking at him for yonks. There you go. There's the moon. And are we in Vasseria here, or Cardiff, or Llanwelly? I have no idea. What's happening? All right, yes, these are the villagers of Vasseria. A young girl's being killed. So obviously, he's run off, changed into a werewolf, or the Wolfman, and killed this young girl. I must have missed it. There was a scene where we saw. Here we go. Where we see him changing. Look, standing behind a tree. There you go. You see him changing. Look behind a tree. Well, that was a bit trickier to do because obviously in a chair you can sit more still, can't you? As they apply the makeups, but here he's got to stand and be very still against this tree, which is a little bit more tricky for him. But it looks cool. I must admit, it looks cool. What's she saying? I don't think he gets her. I think she ends up in prison or something. We don't see her again. I don't think he gets her. But she's calling out to him. I'm pretty sure he don't get her. Hey, I'm going to get copyright struck with this, all these playing these bits just to see what happens. I've watched it, but I've forgotten already. I'm hopeless. See, she's calling out, don't go, but he does. He goes right. So he goes off, kills this young girl. They bring her, and obviously realise something's up. There's a wolf in the woods, or whatever. I think they hear him howling, and they go and chase him. I think they find Maleva, but anyway, they're chasing the Wolfman. And he's heading up to, Frankenstein's castle, the ruins of Frankenstein's castle. But then he falls down. I've gone too far already. Oh, for God's sake. He does. He falls in the ruins. He falls down. There we go. Plummets down there. Underneath the castle. It's all icy for some reason. Don't know why. Because what happened in Ghost of Frankenstein, the film that preceded this one, the house burnt down. It wasn't a castle, it was a house. It burnt down, and the monster was inside. Remember, with Igor's brain inside. The blind monster with Igor's brain, played by him, Lon Chaney. But in this one, the monster's played by Bela Lugosi. So he has actually got his own brain. But they've changed it, for some reason they changed it up on release, and Bela Lugosi acted it as though the monster was blind and couldn't see, which is why he's got his hand out like that. Oh, because he don't know where he's going, he can't see. He obviously can see a little bit because we see him looking at stuff, and he doesn't speak. He actually had some lines in this film, but they were cut out apparently because of Bela Lugosi's accent. But he would have had an accent because remember it's Igor's brain, so he'd have had Bela Lugosi's voice surely. But never mind, they cut it out because of that. They said so he has no dialogue. He just anyway falls, and he finds the monster. But I think he changes back first. Oh, there you go. They've got Maleva, and they put her in prison, and I don't think we see her again. So she's rotting in prison somewhere in Vasseria. Right, so he's unconscious, he's changed back, he's in the snow. I don't know why it's snowy, because he's underground. And there were no, I don't think in the previous film, there were no mention of, like, icy caverns beneath the house. But anyway, he finds the monster. Remember, Frankenstein's the person, not the monster. Here he goes, and he finds him. And I sometimes wonder, I look at this and I think, is this Bela Lugosi here? Let me see it. Because it doesn't look like him to me. I know he plays him late, after this. But I wonder did they get somebody else in to do this part? I don't know. Because it doesn't look like Bela Lugosi to me. It looks actually a bit like Glenn Strange, but I don't know if that's true or not. Or just somebody else. Anyway, he breaks this ice and then gets him out. It could be Bela. I don't know. It could be Bela, but it doesn't look like him to me. Maybe it's just the angle. I don't know. And he gets him out. Got a big dimple in his chin. Let's see if Bela Lugosi got a big dimple in his chin. I can't remember if he has or not. Anyway, he's alive. There he goes. Got him out. Look totally different. Yeah, it's totally different. I don't think that was Bela Lugosi that played the monster at first. But anyway, he's coming out and he's staggering about. Looks, can't see. He's feeling about with his arms. Look, can't see. He's pointing. Look, he's saying, where did Dr. Frankenstein keep his record? So he points to this place. So they go here and they find his library. And they find a bookcase and open that up. By the way, I thought Frankenstein's monster were about 8 foot tall or 7 foot tall, something like that. Obviously, Bela Lugosi is not quite that tall, is he? Pardon me. Anyway, they find this. I said he could see. He obviously can see because there's. He's looking at this. He looks inside and finds this box. Knows exactly where it is. Anyway, he gets this out and he opens it up. There's. He's looking for, he's looking for his notes, looking for Frankenstein's notes, and he's just pulling things out, bits of paper. Look. How does he know what Frankenstein's notes looks like? These could be him for all we know. He's just pulling them out and says, it's not here. How does he know? But we take his word for it, it's not there. Frankenstein's notes aren't there. So he hatches a plan. I don't know where he's getting his money from, by the way, but he's obviously can afford to buy clothes and stuff. But he hatches a plan to lure Baroness Elsa Frankenstein, and he said Elsa Lanchester then, Baroness Elsa Frankenstein to Versaria under the ruse that he wants to buy the castle, and changes it, says he's called Taylor, Mr. Taylor. And so she comes along, but he didn't want to buy that. He just wanted to meet her, so see if she knows where Frankenstein kept his dad's notes. So anyway, that's the mayor or the burgomaster, whatever they're called. He's talking about Mr. Taylor. So Mr. Taylor, who we found out is Lawrence Talbot. There he is, looking spick and span. So he's talking to her with a wonderful, Hungarian accent. She's very like. Can listen to her voice a minute. See if you can hear her say anything.
I understand that you want to buy our land.
I understand you want to buy our land. Great voice. And she's a beautiful woman as well. And as he says, no, actually, I just wanted to meet you. Stalking again. He can't help himself, can he? Anyway, she's very, women just must love him, I don't know, but she's very diplomatic about it. He tells her that he wants her father's notes, and she said she doesn't know where they were. If she did know where they were, she'd have destroyed them because her father, who was her father-in-law, technically, was a monster and created a monster, and she don't want anything to do with it. She hasn't been back to that place for years. So the burgomaster, mayor, whatever he is, let's have a look. Oh, it says mayor. Lionel Atwill, by the way, is playing the mayor. He comes back in and she tells him she's not selling, and then some noise outside, and we find out it's a festival of something to do with wine, and then we have a massive a massive musical number for some reason, for no reason, really. Where are we? There we go. Sorry about that. I pressed the wrong button. So he's gone back to being, oh, woe is me, Lawrence Talbot now. So he's fed up again. And there we go. Here he goes. Are you ready? So it goes on for ages. It goes on for ages. Well, I'm saying it goes on for ages. A couple of minutes. A nice, a musical number. See, they're singing away. But Lawrence Talbot kind of puts the mockers on it, and he comes in screaming and shouting and bawling. She's had her costume change. She's gorgeous, I must admit. Anyway, Dr. Mannering's turned up. I keep thinking of Captain Mannering from Dad's Army. If you're not in the UK, that's a comedy series, a super popular comedy series set during World War II, where the main character was Captain Mannering, but spelt differently. Anyway, so he's turned up. Don't know how he's tracked him to Fazaria, but he has. So he confronts Lawrence. He says, "My name's Taylor." He says, "No, you're not. I know you are. You're Lawrence Talbot." So he comes along and meets Elsa. And I think there's a bit of an attraction between them because they kind of get friendly, but not in that way. So he decides he's going to try and help Lawrence. So they're going to go and try and find the notes, because the notes must be somewhere in the castle. So they're going to go and have a look around. But the monster arrives. Old Bela Lugosi arrives as the monster. Here we go. Everybody's running for cover. The monster's... for God's sake. There he is. There he arrives, scaring everybody. Don't know what he's come for. Just as. But only Lawrence Talbot can calm him. So he goes out and says, it's me, calm down, get on the cart. So he gets on the cart, and Lawrence drives away, and the monster throws the barrels at the... here we go, I'll play it. Throws the barrels at the villagers as they follow him. There you go. Hey. So I think they head up to the castle, I think that's where they're hanging out anyway. The villagers are having a meeting, obviously the monster's still alive, so they've got to, do something about it. And I think the fellow that owns the tavern says, blow the dam and all the water will destroy everything in the castle. And the mayor says, you're not doing that. If you weren't drunk, I'd have you arrested. So obviously they're not going to do that. But he does. Spoiler, he does. That's exactly what he does. Elsa and Mannering are in the mayor's office, and the villagers want to speak to her because she's, essentially she's the leader of the village because she's still Baroness Frankenstein, so she's still the main. But they want to talk to her, and she fobs them off, tells them she'll do what she can. They've got Maria here, not Maria, Mileva here. I don't know what she says, but anyway, Mannering goes up to the castle, finds there you go. They all go up to the castle and find Lawrence and the monster there. I don't know if we see the monster here, but here we do. There he is. And they have a route about, and they find the notes. I don't know where they find them. I can't remember. I think Mileva might have sodded off now. Her job is done. I didn't think we saw her again, but we did. But they find the notes, but I can't remember where they found them. See, she's remembering something. I miss this bit. I've seen this film loads of times, but I can't remember exactly what happened. And tonight when I've watched it, I think I missed this bit. I think I got distracted and something happened. And I forgot to pause it because I'm an idiot. Right, she goes under there. The bookcase that was previously had that box in that the notes weren't in, but she finds them. See, they're up there. Look, a little hidden do for what's it. There you go. And it opens that. The notes are in there. There you go. Pardon me. So Mannering agrees that to help. He looks through the notes and he says it's talking about bringing the monster to life and all stuff like that. And if you want to take life, you change from the terminals from plus to minus. Obviously, if you want to remove life. But he's saying, well, that helps. That don't help me. I want to die. I'm not a created creature. I'm a living flesh and blood man. Human, he says. Ain't a human, he's a werewolf. So, but then they have the idea that they can drain his life force. I think I'll probably put it into the monster or just drain it using the equipment. And that'll kill him. So he's hopeful about that. So Mannering agrees to help. So they get some equipment in. They repair the equipment. She's not too happy about this, by the way. But that's what they're going to do. So some equipment arrives. Start setting it up and repairing things. I think this is where the tavern owner talks about blowing the dam, and the mayor tells him to shut his gob. We're getting near the end now, by the way. These films aren't very long. I mean, this was 73 minutes. I think the Wolfman were like 69 minutes. They were short films, weren't they? Not like you get today, like these 3-hour blockbusters that be no intermissions. God, blimey. Anyway, so what happens next? Come on. Right. Got his Wolfman clothes on, so he must be ready to transform. Still got his scar, have you noticed? I wonder if that's an actual scar that Lon Chaney's got. Or is it one that they just keep remembering to put on? Right, he's got his scientist clobber on. So he's getting ready to oh, she's here, look. I keep thinking she's gone and she keeps popping back up again, doesn't she? So they're getting ready. They're going to put the monster on one of these. You can see it there, that table there, and Lawrence on another one. Either testing the equipment, bit of sparks. Bzzz, there you go. That's what you want, isn't it? That's what you want in a universal lab. Sparks. Bit of soft focus on Ilona Massey. We see her later on with her hair down in like braids. She looks gorgeous, I must admit. She does. Right, here we go. So they've got the monster on one table and Lawrence Talbot on t'other. And he has a change of heart, does Mannering. Rather than wanting to kill, I think he's wanting to kill both of them by draining their energy, using the equipment. But he has a change of heart and he decides he wants to see the monster at full power. Must be something about that castle that drives people bonkers, I don't know. But so he changes all the wiring. But before the process goes through, look, this is him having his change of heart. Before the process can go through, the moon arrives in the sky, from behind clouds or whatever, and starts off the transformation of Lawrence Talbot. But before that, the villagers see all these lights going on in the castle from afar. Not that I'll be able to, get to that bit, 'cause you know what I'm like. Dee. Bit of smoke coming up. There's all the electrical equipment's all going, all buzzing and sparking. Here she is, look, he's with the braids on. It's lovely. Yeah. Come on, villagers, see it from the distance. I think she's trying to stop him, I think. Hang on. Let's have a listen.
Twitch!
Oh, it all sparks and stuff. And she's like, ah! And then it all starts collapsing. Oh, that were close, wasn't it? on Bela Lugosi. They didn't care back in them days. Oh, look at all. Right, this is now where we see the innkeeper. He's got his little bag of dynamite. As we'll see in a minute. Come on, show us. There he is. He's got a few sticks of dynamite, just shoves it in there, and it causes a hell of a bang, as we'll see. Anyway, so he changes. He breaks out. There we go. Still, apparently, he's still blind, apparently, but I think he can see a bit. He's supposed to be blind. Right, so what's happening here? Who's that? Is he going after Elsa? Is it? Yes, he is. So he's trying to stop him, but then the Wolfman arrives. In a minute, there he is. So he's going to get out of his bonds. Come on. Oh, look, and the monster's got Elsa carrying her off. But then the wolf just drops her. Wolfman gets hold of the monster. Meanwhile, the innkeeper's lighting his dynamite. Look, din, 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 fighting. Who would have won? I don't know, because I don't think we'd ever find out who. Look. Anyway, Frank Mannering grabs Elsa, and they get out in the nick of time. As the monsters are rolling about. This is what we've been waiting for, isn't it? The big showdown between Frankenstein's monster and the Wolfman. And look, they're at it, look. Fighting in lumps, as we say. Where's he going? Where's he going? He's going to climb up there and jump down, isn't he? Because he thinks he's Jeff Hardy. Oh, I've missed the bloody damn hunter going up. Oh, I tell you. I think we're going to see it now. Are you ready? They're getting away. Look, here we go. Them few sticks of dynamite. Look at that. It's like a bloody nuclear explosion, nearly. So, that's the dam blown. And all the water comes rushing down. In a moment. Look, steady on. Think if the monkeys did that back in them days. Health and safety, no such thing. Right, all the water's coming rushing in, look, and washing them away, look. And then the castle, there we go, the castle gets washed away. The filth of Saruman is washed away. I know it's not that, I know. And I think that's the end of the film. I think we see, we get one last look at Elsa and Mannering in a moment. Watching from a safe vantage point, so we know that. There we go. So we know they're okay, and I think that's the end of the film. The film ends, and then I don't think we see. Come on, say the end. Oh no, the villagers are watching, thinking, "Yeah, that's the end of Frankenstein and the Wolfman, Frankenstein's monster and the Wolfman." Come on, say the end. There you go, the end. A universal picture. And I don't think we see him again now until, is it House of Dracula? Is it House of Dracula that's the next one? And I think that they're found both, in the wreckage of that castle. I think. Let's have a look. See if it tells us what's next. Oh, House of Frankenstein. Universal would follow this with the House of Frankenstein and the House of Dracula. Let's have a look. The House of Frankenstein one with Boris Karloff as Dr. Nyman. Yeah. They do a bit with Count Dracula, John Carradine as Count Dracula at the beginning, but it's like separate to the Wolfman and Frankenstein stuff. And I think they find the monster and Larry Talbot frozen again. Must be cold under that castle, them caverns, frozen, and they get them out. Yes, that's what happens. So that's the next one in the series. So anyway, but that's it for that one. And the cool films, I moan about them a bit, because they're a bit ludicrous. But they were old films, but they were great at the time. There you go, Dwight Fry as Rudy. Who were Rudy? I've no idea. But Dwight Fry played Renfield in the 1931 Dracula, didn't he? Hey, right, we'll leave it there. So I'll get rid of that. So thanks for watching. I thought we'd do some old films for a change. I don't know what I'm going to do next week. I'll think of something. We might come back a bit more modern next week, but I thought we'd do some classics this week. It was fun. I like them films. They're good. They're good. They're good, especially the ones where you get more than one monster in. Like I say, like like Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, House of Frankenstein, and House of Dracula. I like them ones. But anyway, right. I don't think Bela Lugosi played Dracula in any of those. I think it was John Carradine. And he's a bit scrawny. He don't look. He's okay, but he's not. He's no Bela Lugosi, is he? Anyway, we'll leave it there. So thanks for watching. Wherever you are, don't have nightmares. Until next time, I'll say thee.